Everything we have been told about the extinction of the ocean's greatest predator might be a lie. For decades, science has maintained that Otodus Megalodon vanished 3.6 million years ago. They tell us the ocean became too cold and their food supply simply disappeared into history. But the deep ocean is not a museum, it is a vast, unmapped fortress that keeps its secrets. We are beginning to find evidence that suggests the king of the abyss never actually went away. From massive, unexplained bite marks on modern humpback whales to sonar readings that defy physics, we are going to look at the classified reports and the biological anomalies that prove he is still out there. This is not a myth. This is a look at the evidence that the world's largest predator just moved deeper. As we dive into the blackest corners of the Mariana Trench, we have to ask ourselves one question. If the Megalodon is truly gone, then what exactly is leaving 20-inch scars on the world's largest sharks? It starts with a discovery off the coast of South Africa that the authorities tried to explain away. A great white shark, nearly 15 feet long, was found bitten almost entirely in half. A great white has no natural predators except for the orca, but an orca doesn't bite like this. The jaw span required to inflict such a wound would need to be over 9 feet wide. That is the exact dimension of a predator that is supposed to have been dead for millions of years. But it isn't just the physical wounds, it is the modern fossils that are appearing in the deep mud. In 1875, the HMS Challenger dredged up to Megalodon teeth from the silence of the deep sea. When they were tested, the manganese dioxide layer suggested these teeth were only 10,000 years old. In geological terms, 10,000 years is the blink of an eye. It is practically yesterday. If they were alive during the rise of human civilization, what makes us think they aren't alive now? The ocean is thousands of meters deep, and we have only seen a tiny fraction of the bottom. The Megalodon didn't need to stay in the sunlight. It just needed to follow the giant squid. By adapting to the crushing pressure of the midnight zone, the Megalodon became the ultimate ghost. He is a shadow in the sonar, a shape that moves faster than any whale should be able to. Military submarines have reported acoustic anomalies that sound like a massive biological engine moving in the dark. We call them unidentified submerged objects, but the locals in the Pacific Islands have a different name. They call it the Lord of the Deep, a guardian of the abyss that has never stopped hunting. Every time a large vessel disappears without a trace, we blame the weather or a structural failure. But maybe we should start looking at the bite marks on the wreckage that we never recovered. The Megalodon didn't die out. He just waited for us to forget about him so he could rule in silence. As we continue to explore the trenches, we aren't just looking for fish. We are walking into his mouth. The evidence is screaming at us from the depths, and it is time we finally started listening. In 2013, a research vessel off the coast of Australia tagged a healthy 9-foot great white shark. They named her Shark Alpha, and for months, her tracking data was perfectly normal for a predator. Then, suddenly, the tag recorded a massive temperature spike and a vertical plunge into the abyss. The temperature went from 46 degrees to 78 degrees Fahrenheit in a matter of seconds. There is only one place that temperature exists in the freezing deep, inside the stomach of a living creature. Whatever swallowed Shark Alpha whole was moving at speeds that no known whale can achieve. This creature dove to a depth of nearly 2,000 feet and stayed there for several days. When the tag finally washed up on shore, it was scarred by stomach acid and crushed by immense jaw pressure. Scientists officially claimed it was a colossal cannibal great white, but the math simply doesn't add up. To swallow a 9-foot shark in one gulp, the predator would need to be at least 60 feet long. That is the exact size of a mature megalodon, a ghost lurking where we aren't supposed to look. The deep-sea environment of the Midnight Zone is the perfect hiding place for a giant survivor. We used to think the Megalodon needed warm surface waters to survive and hunt its whale prey. But the discovery of the megamouth and the Greenland shark proves that giants can thrive in the cold. If a shark can live for 400 years in the freezing dark, why couldn't the Megalodon? By slowing its metabolism and hunting giant squid, the king could have easily retreated from the surface. During the Cold War, US Navy sonar technicians began picking up a sound they couldn't explain. It wasn't a submarine, and it wasn't the rhythmic clicking of a blue whale or a sperm whale. It was a low-frequency pulse, vibrating through the hull of ships with enough power to rattle internal equipment. These acoustic giants were moving at depths where no known air-breathing mammal could possibly survive. When the data was analyzed, the signature showed a creature with a mass exceeding 100 tons. To maintain that kind of size in the deep, you need an apex predator that sits above the giant squid. We are seeing satellite imagery of massive shadows moving near the surface of the deep trenches. These are not whales, as they do not surface to breed, and their movement is purely predatory. There are reports from deep-sea cable repair teams of massive bite marks on armored communication lines. Lines that are buried under thousands of feet of water, where no known shark should be able to swim. The steel-reinforced cables were flattened, showing a bite force that exceeds 40,000 pounds per square inch. That is 10 times the bite force of a great white and double that of a Tyrannosaurus rex. We are told these are accident or geological shifts, but the serration marks tell a different story. The tooth fragments recovered from these cables don't match any species currently listed in biological databases. They are thick, fossil-like, but they contain traces of organic matter that shouldn't be there after millions of years. It suggests a population of giants that moved into the hadal zone to escape the cooling of the surface. They adapted to the darkness, their eyes growing larger, their skin turning a deathly, abyssal gray. The megalodon did not go extinct, it simply became the ultimate deep-sea specialist. Think about the coelacanth, a fish we thought died out 65 million years ago. In 1938, one was found alive and healthy off the coast of South Africa, shocking the entire world. If a 5-foot fish can hide from humanity for 60 million years, what can a 60-foot shark do? The ocean is a vast, dark cathedral, and we have only just begun to knock on the front door. We are obsessed with finding life on other planets while ignoring the titans in our own backyard. Every year, thousands of large sea turtles and seals wash up with massive, circular chunks missing. These are not the messy tears of a tiger shark or the jagged rips of a great white. These are surgical, massive removals of flesh that suggest a jaw span of nearly 10 feet. If the king is dead, then who is currently eating the most dangerous animals in the sea? Fishermen in the Sea of Cortez have told stories for generations about the Black Demon, a shark so large it eclipses their boats and moves with a speed that defies its massive size. These men are not looking for fame or YouTube views. They are terrified of the water they fish in. They have seen their steel nets shredded and their largest catches snatched by something invisible in the dark. The king is not dead, he is just hungry, and he has been waiting for us to come back down. The evidence is in the scars, the sonar, and the silence that follows every mysterious deep-sea disappearance. If you are ever on a boat in the middle of the Pacific and you feel a sudden, heavy vibration, do not look for a storm on the horizon. Look at the dark water beneath your feet. We have spent billions of dollars mapping the stars while the abyss remains a total mystery. Underneath the waves, there is a war going on that we are not invited to witness. A war between the giants of the past and the technology of the modern world. Every time we send a deep-sea submersible down, we are ringing a dinner bell in the dark. The lights we use to see are beacons for predators that have lived in total blackness for eons. Perhaps the reason we haven't found the megalodon is because we are looking for a fish. We should be looking for a god of the trenches, a force of nature that cannot be contained. Because the greatest mistake humanity ever made was assuming that the top of the food chain was empty. He is still there, he is watching, and he is the reason we are truly afraid of the dark. The ocean does not forgive, and it certainly does not forget its rightful ruler. The next time you hear about a ship lost at sea with no explanation, remember the teeth. Remember the shadows that move where the light cannot reach and the pressure is absolute. The abyss is calling, and the king is finally ready to answer. Stay out of the deep water, because once you enter his kingdom, you are no longer the hunter. You are simply a ghost in the making, waiting to be consumed by the king who never left.